NIST cloud computing terminology starts with a cloud consumer, which is a person or organization that maintains a relationship with the cloud service provider, which provides the consumer with cloud services. The cloud provider is a person or organization or entity responsible for making a service available to cloud service consumers. This connection can either be direct or indirect through a cloud broker. A cloud broker is an entity that sits in between the consumer and provider and that manages the use, performance, and delivery of cloud services between the cloud providers and cloud consumers. In other words, the middlemen or proxies in between the relationship for all cloud transactions. Regardless of how the cloud connection is formed, there is always a cloud auditor, being a party that can conduct independent assessment of cloud services, information system operations, performance, and security of any cloud implementation. The process of transporting cloud data between cloud providers and cloud consumers is known as cloud distribution. Cloud distribution is known as a second level term, as per NIST Special Publication 500-292, whereas all the other terms mentioned earlier in the video were first level terms as defined by this special publication. Further second level terms include service deployment, which is all of the activities an organization needs to make a cloud service available. In order to meet different cloud service consumers' IT and business requirements, this is where service orchestration comes into play. Service orchestration refers to the arrangement, coordination, and management of cloud infrastructure, which in turn helps with cloud service management, which includes all the service-related functions that are necessary for the management and operations of those services required by or proposed to customers. So now we have covered some basic cloud terminology. Let's look at how some of these elements can be put together according to the NIST Cloud Computing Reference Architecture, which defines 5 major actors as shown on screen. Each actor is an entity, aka a person or an organization, that participates in a transaction or process and performs cloud tasks in cloud computing. Important keynote: there are different communication paths depending on the relationship between the cloud actors, as indicated by the different color paths. And to further visualize each of these major cloud actors, let's bring back the original pictures from our first part of the video. Important keynote: the cloud carrier and cloud distribution term can be used interchangeably, but just think of it as another word for the cloud broker, especially as we now go into some usage example scenarios, such as example 1, where a cloud consumer may request a service from a cloud broker instead of contacting a cloud provider directly, aka using a middleman. The cloud broker may create a new service by combining multiple services or by enhancing an existing service. In this example, the actual cloud providers are invisible to the cloud consumer, and the cloud consumer interacts directly with the cloud broker. Whereas in our example 2 usage scenario, cloud carriers provide the connectivity and transport of cloud services from cloud providers to cloud consumers, where the cloud provider operates 2 unique service level agreements, one with the cloud consumer and one with the cloud carrier. And the final example usage scenario 3 illustrates a cloud auditor conducting an independent assessment of the operation and security of the cloud service implementation. The audit may involve interactions with both the cloud consumer and the cloud provider. Now, moving on to the scope of control between the cloud provider and the cloud consumer through the use of service models, which you may know as software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. In the middle of all of this is a middleware layer, and then the reverse of this same service model can be conceptualized from the cloud consumer's end. I will be releasing a separate video on all these cloud service models and their technicalities, so please be sure you have liked and subscribed to this channel. And finally, moving on to cloud service deployments, starting with a public cloud, which is one in which the cloud infrastructure and computing resources are made available to the general public over a public network. In contrast, a private cloud gives a single cloud consumer's organization the exclusive access to and usage of infrastructure and computational resources. A private cloud may be managed either by the cloud consumer organization or by a third party, and it may also be hosted on the organization's premises, aka on-site private cloud, or outsourced to a hosting company, i.e., outsourced private cloud. As for a community cloud, this serves a group of cloud consumers which have shared concerns such as a mission objective, security, privacy, and compliance policy, rather than serving a single organization, as does a private cloud. And then there is a hybrid cloud, which is a composition of two or more clouds previously discussed. Now, this was a very simple introduction to cloud computing reference architecture, which is helpful for the CCSK and CCSP cloud related exams and even the CISSP. However, there is still a lot more to the cloud, and I will be releasing more videos on cloud orchestration, compute storage and resource pools, hypervisors and containers, access controls, elasticity, governance, and much, much more. So please be sure to like and subscribe if not already to ensure you do not miss any future content. And thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed the content as much as I enjoyed creating it.